The Pittsburgh Steelers just put a starter on the chopping block. And although they're in a healthy salary cap situation heading into the offseason, they could also easily create even more cap space. Just a few roster cuts. And I think this cut might be next. And I'm talking about defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi. They're Steelers. They look to be at a crossroads here. Do they go with the youth movement or continue to go with the status quo? Let me know what you think in the comments. Should Larry Ogunjobi continue on this line? Can he experience a resurgence, or is it a situation of good money after bad? And what's up? This is Sports Talk Steelers. Hey, we're a Sports Talk family that absolutely loves covering the NFL. I'm primarily a Bears guy. I have a Bears channel, but with Justin Fields coming to Pittsburgh, got super intrigued by your squad, and I want to give you guys some impartial coverage, give you a little more love because I don't think you get enough of it. So join us if you would, hit the subscribe button, and let's get to the story. I think as far as being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I think you can expect a few cap casualties going forward. And it looks like, looking at your team objectively, I think Ogunjobi is the easiest decision among all these players. Would save the club $7 million if he was cut today. I think you can expect him to go. And that means what? That means opening up a starting spot next to Hayward, right? Maybe Benton, maybe he could slide over. Maybe a possible rookie or free agent addition could replace him. It could also make sense that a guy like Montravius Adams, Dean Lowry, they could get the boot too. And cutting both of them would save the team under $5 million as well. Lowry was disappointing overall. His cap savings could be spent elsewhere. And if you think about Adams, he was hurt most of the year, right? But he's most likely to return out of the two guys. Just everything kind of feels like it's in flux. I don't think any of these positions are safe on the team. And as recently as January 20th, Bleacher Report's NFL scouting department, they actually named Ogunjobi among the top cut candidates on this team. And I'm just going to go directly from the story. Larry Ogunjobi, he's been solid for the Steelers, but his play this season has brought his value into question. He's scheduled to be one of the top 25 highest paid defensive tackles in the league, but he's not necessarily playing at that level anymore. PFF graded him as the 100th best interior defender out of 125. That's not good. And he's going to be 31 next season. The Steelers have younger players who could step into that role. I kind of started talking about them. Even if they don't feel the younger players are quite ready, plenty of money to potentially get a better younger player with the $7 million in cap savings by cutting them. And kind of look at this. He posted 41 combined tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks this last season, 7 quarterback hits, and that's in 15 games during this last season. But in 8 NFL seasons, he's earned about $41.3 million. And I'm like, yes, please. They make so much money. It's sick. So what about releasing him? He just finished his 3rd season with the Steelers, posted average to below average player grades at PFF. I just went over that. I think the eye test shows that as well. He's just not quite the player that he was before when he got paid. And set to turn 31 in July. They could try to be more efficient. Pay Ogunjobi will earn in 2025 might just not be worth it at this point. And he's also set to count $10.53 million against the cap this next season as well. So even more motivation. I think, too, he was set to be a cut candidate last year. I remember seeing that, but the Steelers elected to keep him. They just didn't have a lot of defensive line help. But enter in 24, right? Former 2nd-round pick Keanu Benton, he took the next step in his development. He was a key force on the defensive line. He could also target like a defensive lineman early in the 2025 draft if you're Tomlin. Bleacher Report suggested it as well. They could go bargain hunting as well along the defensive line to try to shore things up because there are some spots to fill. I think you have a secondary spot to fill. There's still the running back issue is unsolved. You desperately need a number 2 threat behind George Pickens. Also, not to mention the quarterback situation. That $53 million can get eaten up that you have in cap space very, very quickly. That $7 million in cap relief, it actually might be worth it for a player that looks like he's regressing. Once again, the dead cap, only $3.53 million in a dead cap hit if he was cut. Um, yeah, the argument, his release won't generate a ton of space. I disagree, but in theory, I think a cheaper option is possible. Yeah, I think it might be a no-brainer. The Steelers have that 53 million in functional cap space. That's after a recent cut, and the Steelers still have to sign a starting quarterback, typically the most expensive position in the league. They're looking at right now possibly giving a contract to Justin Fields. I think Russell Wilson is gone. There's even a lot of rumors of Aaron Rodgers being a possible bridge quarterback. The problem is, you guys picked 21st. There's not a quarterback available that can step in and start. And yeah, additional cap might be needed. The Steelers could part ways with Ogunjobi and take a chance on finding a defensive line upgrade elsewhere. You guys let me know what you think. Getting this channel off the ground, I appreciate you watching. And hey, let's build it together. Talk to you guys soon.